So, hey everybody, it's Lacey again. We actually had our amazing expo this past weekend and it was wonderful. But as we were rolling into that expo and started doing these interviews, we got really excited about the response to those interviews and decided to continue them on. So, today I'm here with Maggie, and Maggie's going to share a little bit about what she does. And she is actually coming to us all the way from the other side of the country in California. So it's really exciting to kind of connect the national community, and who knows, maybe we'll get to the international community soon. But Maggie, without me going on and on, would you share again with our clients or our customers or our community what it is that you do, and then maybe even how you got there?
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. I'll share how I got here because it ties into everything that I do. So I'm very much about practicing what I preach, living the lifestyle
Mhm.
that I am trying to influence other people um, to live by as well.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
about say about 5 years ago, I was in a point in my life where I had kind of been recycling the same lifestyle, very complacent, a lot of anxiety that I didn't realize I had. And so, because of the anxiety, I was keeping myself very safe. And
Mm.
but I got to a breaking point where everything was falling apart without me even nat- uh, naturally making it happen.
Mm.
And so I lost a relationship. I moved out of a home. I resigned from my job. I
Wow.
just let go of everything that
Mhm.
was no longer serving me
Yeah.
and started over to two suitcases to Texas and did about 2.5 years of self-healing work.
Wow.
Yeah.
Where in Texas, can I ask?
San Antonio, I was in Austin for a little bit, but San Antonio as well, mostly.
Okay.
And I have to say, and I want to touch on this just a tad. Um, when I went to my medical health care provider to tell them what was going on, I was crying all the time, very sad. And the first thing I was offered was Zoloft.
Wow.
And um, and I am very about having a well balanced system to help to support you. So I'm not saying this in a way that's negative, but I wasn't offered anything else, no other alternatives.
Right.
And so I decided to turn it down and do the self healing work. And through that and through meditation, I discovered Reiki,
Okay.
which is a form of energy balancing,
Mhm.
internal balance. I was already doing it, and so when I started to look on the internet, I discovered, okay, this is actually called Reiki, and I
That's
became a
great.
practitioner.
Okay, very cool.
Yeah,
So that's
and
interesting. Can you tell, before you continue telling us more
yes.
about Reiki, would you mind sharing with us what were you doing? What was your job like? Maybe what is your background leading up to that sort of overhaul moment?
Yes, so I've worked with children since 1997,
Okay.
and I worked at a school, elementary school, in the special education system for about 10 years.
Okay.
And the direction that it was going, I didn't quite feel aligned with. And also, I was 20 something and at the same job for 10 years, and I was like, is this it? you know?
Yeah. Wow.
So,
Okay.
and I was playing it safe. I was scared to leave because of my own self judgment about not having a degree and all that kind of self talk that tells you you can only be in a certain box.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
I like that because I think that's important because we all feel that on different levels, I think, depending,
Mhm.
we either got a degree in something, so now we have to do that because that's our degree. Like
Mhm.
there's variant levels of that feeling. So thank you for sharing. All right.
Yes,
So go ahead
absolutely.
and keep telling us more.
Yeah, Reiki is my jam, so I'm very excited to share about this part. So I started practicing level one Reiki, and then I studied with a mentor for about a year after that, and developed my own gifts within that. So what I love about Reiki is that it is something that you can you formally take,
Mhm.
but within that, your gifts will start to come out.
Yes.
So emerge from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm very empathic. I'm very much a feeler of other people, and that was something else I had to work on
Yeah.
because I realized I was taking a lot of people's energy,
Yeah.
feelings, ideas, and getting very confused. you know.
Yeah.
So learning to, and I think that's, so when I work with people who have anxiety, that is something we touch on, how the sensitivity level that you have, because I think that's a large part of it. Um,
And
is
how
that
you create differentiations and guards and things like that. Yeah, I know I have to work on that myself. So
yes, like learning to discern what is mine and what is
not.
yours, theirs. Yes. So I moved back here on a call from Spirit, just a gut feeling.
Mhm.
And within 2 weeks of my moving here, it was very clear I needed to be back. My father wasn't doing very well health wise. I also was, moving back to the Bay Area. We all know how expensive it is as well. So I thought, how am I going to do this?
Right.
But I had a job. I had a place to live, my own studio within a month of me moving
Wow,
back.
that's
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, that following your instinct, I think a lot of times we call it gut or intuition
Mhm.
or whatever. It's just something that seems real hard to do until you suddenly are like, yeah, I just have to do that thing. And I love that it works out every time almost.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And I will say that that's a large part. So within Reiki, what I like to work on with my clients is that what I call taking back your inner calm,
Mhm.
which is finding that, reconnecting with that part of yourself. It's not that it disappears, it's just that you're kind of digging back to connect with it.
Sure.
That part of yourself that can make decisions like the one I did to move to Texas, to move back when the timing was right,
Mhm.
and to find that part of yourself that's so still and grounded that you can come back to it and ask for support, even if it means asking outside of yourself, to know that that's what you need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that. Yeah. And sometimes when I feel the most anxious, it's like there's this chaos going on of like I just can't even get my bearings. And so
Mhm.
that description is so beautiful. Yeah. Just reconnect
Thank
to
you.
that inner wisdom. Yeah. Okay. So if you could describe maybe a few of your ideal clients or people who you've worked with who've seen some major results or shifts, we'd love to hear, some really like specific examples if you can think of some.
Sure. I mostly work with women, within the coaching aspect of it, the guidance part.
Mhm.
But with Reiki, anybody is welcome to try Reiki. Even my next kind of goal is to work with children and animals, because
Yeah.
that's another calling. I mean, I work currently also with children part-time,
Mhm.
and so I'd like to start incorporating that with the natural self-healing work.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so basically clients who are, there's a little bit of awareness that they're, a lot of my clients are living fairly average lives. They on the outside might seem like everything's fine, but there's just this part of them that's um, dealing with stress, anxiety, feeling like there's more,
Mhm.
but not knowing how to navigate that.
Mhm.
And so through Reiki, and some people just simply come for Reiki, and some people come for guidance outside of that.
Mhm.
We learn, I help them teach themselves to tap in.
Right. Yeah.
So I'm the facilitator of that. I'm not the reason why I'm the facilitator. And I like to be very clear about that,
Mhm.
because it's empowering for that person to come to that point where they can uh, kind of get through the cloudiness and learn how to and think more clearly internally.
Mhm.
So a lot of some descriptions I've had, my favorite one is I've been told it's a hug for their soul when they receive Reiki. And it's a lot of clarity, finding clarity
Mhm.
within.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
makes so much sense. And I think one of the themes that we've seen across the board when it comes to the exhibitors that we've talked to and the other interviews that we've had, we call them wellness awareness. And it really is about kind of opening people to this new idea of how we can look at our lives, how we can look at our health. And it's something that I think we get buried under layers of the world telling us, well, there's these medications you can take, or you need to see a doctor, like putting us in these boxes of what is the right way to go when what we need to do is uncover and dig a little deeper and be aware that there is an alternative. There is another option, and there is some other work that you can do. So I love that.
Yeah.
It goes back to your story about what the doctor didn't offer you, right? He didn't have any other, and he just doesn't have these tools in his toolbox. So you can't go to your doctor and he'll say, oh, you should seek a Reiki provider, right? That's not, unfortunately. Maybe we'll move in that direction. I hope that we will, but yeah.
Me too. I hope that, because I'm very much about having, again, like an entire toolbox of things. So, I have worked with people who are in therapy or they are taking something, but they also know
Right.
that Reiki is a part of their self-support system. So it
Totally.
doesn't have to be one or the other, you
Exactly.
know. Hmm.
Yeah, I think that's huge. So that's actually, yeah, one of our major missions is you don't have to separate yourself from the other world entirely. Just let's
Hmm.
see what all there is to offer. And I love what you're doing because you're connecting people back to their own self. And I think that empowerment piece it just constantly, that's like a bell that rings when you're talking about that. It's just empower yourself with more options. So I love
Hmm.
it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so lastly, Maggie, this is my favorite question in the whole interview. What is one little thing that you do that's maybe outside the realm of Reiki that helps you keep you feeling your best during every single day?
Well, I'd say as of recent, tapping into my creativity. So every night before I go to sleep,
Uh-huh.
I dance to 1 to 2 songs on YouTube.
I
I
love
put them on and I close my eyes and I actually try to feel around where I am and just,
that. Wow,
yeah,
that's
dance with
beautiful.
spirit, I'd say. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. No one has given me that answer yet, so I love it. Dancing
Yeah.
is such a simple thing. It makes us feel better. I mean, there's like
Mhm.
total science behind that, but we don't need it. It's just good.
Yeah, and it's just movement. I try to take the pressure off of what I look like or whatever. It's just me and spirit and music. So
Love that.
yeah.
Thank you, Maggie, so much for
You're
sharing that with
welcome.
us and your whole story and what you're doing. I can't wait to share it with our audience and get their feedback. But yeah,
Yeah,
everyone,
thank you.
everyone needs to know that Reiki is an amazing option. So I'm glad you were
Yeah.
doing it. So, all
Thanks.
right. Well, have a great
Okay.
afternoon. Thank you
You
again.
too. Okay, thank you. Bye.